All right, everyone. So in the last video, we defined an attack animation. In this video, we need to make sure that it happens at the right time. So when is the right time? Well, the way things are currently set up, it's when the spacebar is pressed, but this is all controlled under the code for lightning. It says right here, I'm going to zoom in a little bit. When space is pressed, move the lightning. Okay, and then move the lightning, make sure that it's in the right place and it flies off in the right direction. So one way we could do this is we could just go to Wizard and we could just kind of create what you might call an accidental coordination of the lightning appearing from the wizard and the wizard doing his animation. So we could just go to Events, when space key pressed, My Blocks, and Attack Animation. So now what happens is, if I press the space key, which I will do in 3, 2, 1, see both things happen at once. In the wizard code, he goes into the attack animation, and in the lightning code, it flies off the way that it's supposed to. Now, okay, that's all right, I guess. But I don't really like that. I don't like this accidental coordination between the wizard's little animation and the lightning flying off. I think those two should be more closely tied together. And the reason I feel like that is because I'm worried that if I want to modify the attack, I've got to go and do it in two places. I've got to remember that there's a bit where when the space key is pressed that activates the wizard, and there's another thing when the space key is pressed that activates the lightning. So I'm going to change this. I'm going to make it so that when space key is pressed, make a block, call it, well, let's call it Zap Ghost. It's more of a fun name. So Zap Ghost, okay. So this is going to be a new thing here. When you zap the ghost, you go into the attack animation and you broadcast a message. A new message. Tell lightning to strike. Okay. And then, under my blocks, I'm going to take this Zap Ghost that I've just defined and put it there. So when the space key is pressed, Zap the Ghost happens. What does that involve? It involves the attack animation, so he'll lean forward and do his thing. And then it'll tell the lightning to strike. So over here in the lightning, instead of having this, when space key is pressed, I'm going to have, when I receive, tell lightning to strike. Now this doesn't make any difference in what happens. It's just a much tidier way to arrange things so that if I update my code, I don't have to update a lot of things now. Remember where all the right pieces of code are. So now all I have to remember is that casting a spell is something the wizard does. So then I go to Wizard. If I want to update that, when the space key is pressed, zaps the ghost. Here's the definition of that. Zap Ghost, it goes into his attack animation. He broadcasts tell lightning to strike. And that tells me that lightning will be waiting for that. Yes, it is. When I receive tell lightning to strike, then I move. So, that's the way that we set up the animation. Let's give it a little test. If I hit the spacebar in 3, 2, 1. Okay. Now, I don't really like that. Why not? Because it happened so fast that you barely saw the animation at all. He just went straight into his leaning forward pose. And secondly, he remained stuck in that leaning forward pose afterwards. Now, I can get him out of his stupor. If I press the cursor keys in 3, 2, 1, he goes back to walking, right? But if I press the space, 3, 2, 1, he just hangs in that position at the end, waiting for me to press a cursor key. I don't like that. I want him to go naturally back to standing up straight. So in the next video, we're going to kind of fix some of these problems. Thank you for listening, and if you find this video useful, please hit like and subscribe.